The current state of cricket, when you have to look at it, is very, very, you may say, divided along money lines. The big three: India, Australia, and England, followed by the others who are financially lagging behind and are not able to get in as many crowds as you want when you have to look at the highest format of the game, which is Test cricket. Recently, we saw record breaking crowds for India versus Australia. And that is where a two-tier system in Test cricket has been proposed. But if you look at the overall functioning of cricket, former Australia captain Ian Chappell is not happy. The former Australian captain, in his column in ESPN Cricinfo, has absolutely lambasted the ICC and has questioned why certain teams got Test status. Because in his latest column on ESPN Cricinfo, Ian Chappell has mentioned that ICC doesn't run cricket. It is an event management company and they are not doing a good job of it. Unless there is a major change of heart, financially desirable nations will have a huge say in self-serving schedule. Look at it. Every single time a 5-test series is being played between India, Australia, India, England, Australia, England. In the 2025-2027 cycle, you'll see Australia, New Zealand in a 4-test series, which is a rarity. When was the last time New Zealand played a 4-test series? You'll have to go back decades. West Indies have not played a 5-test series or a 4-test series for close to 2 decades. This is where, when you look at it, financially desirable, India, Australia, and England will continue to dominate the scheduling. And is that good for cricket in the long run? Not really. And this is the problem. The ICC has allowed cricket to go into anarchy. And that is why certain boards with certain clouts dominate the finances, dominate the scheduling. But he did acknowledge that the complex issue, and you cannot argue against that, is India's clout. Because as far as crowd power is concerned, money power is concerned, India tops it all. India's powerful presence in the ICC is in direct proportion to their contribution of around 70% of cricket's income. So that is why India's power and the promise that yes, they will help certain nations grow with it is kind of giving a flicker of hope. But are India truly committed in ensuring that the growth is there? Because they are also, they stopped the two-tier system being launched in 2017 because they wanted the other smaller nations to grow. But in the age of money power in 2025, has India ensured that a two-tier system will come back in Test cricket? How logistically it will be possible, we don't know. But Ian Chappell has blasted the big three. India, Australia, and England, despite being wealthy boards, claim a large slice of the money divided among cricket bodies. Yet they agitate for an even bigger share. This is the problem. Australia, India, and England have become so used to dominating everything that they now want a larger share, marginalize the revenue pie even further. Only 3 guys get the top billing. Others will only get crumbs. This is the current problem that cricket is facing, and Ian Chappell has highlighted that out. Now, as far as Test status is concerned, normally Test cricket is the highest pinnacle. And that is why when certain nations are given Test status, it often draws into question. On what grounds were they given? Ian Chappell has highlighted this particular point by saying certain criteria has to be attached for Test status. For example, the criteria that he's allocated. Do the nations have a viable FC competition, that's a first class competition, legitimate test grounds, adequate facilities, financial stability? These are the 4 criteria upon which is there. And he has highlighted specifically the point of Afghanistan, Ireland. And maybe if you want to indirectly relate it even to Zimbabwe. Bangladesh too. How could these nations get Test cricket status? Because if you look at all the 4 criteria that's there, Zimbabwe had a robust FC competition called the Logan Cup, but that has deteriorated. Bangladesh also, were they too hasty in giving a Test cricket status? Afghanistan and Ireland don't even have a first class competition. And they do not have the grounds, especially Afghanistan, in a war ravaged country where will you have grounds? The only reason why some of the nations got test cricket status is because in return for test status, they provide valuable ICC votes on important issues. It's all vote bank. We all talk about vote bank in Indian politics, but then in the ICC, there is a major vote bank that is developing. And that is why more smaller nations, more votes to ensure that you peddle your agenda in that sense. Now, why T20 versus Test cricket? Why is it so difficult to launch a Test cricket, you may say a franchisee cricket system in Test cricket, and only T20 is successful? Why are first class cricket, county cricket, and all these Test cricket matches lagging behind? Chappell offers a very monetary and very practical reason for it. He states, successful T20 competition improves financial capacity of a board. Extremely expensive to run 4-day competition. This dominates thinking of cricket administrators. Simple. It's more expensive. But then the amount of money that you create from a T20 league, isn't that enough to kind of ensure that you keep first class cricket up and running? Apparently not. Who wants to bother the laws? Who will come for 4 days and watch tests? Australia, it's healthy. India is healthy. England is healthy. But what about Sri Lanka? What about other nations? South Africa, because of the opponents, most people did come out, especially in Century and especially in Newlands. But if it's not India or if it's none of the other big teams, no one watches Test cricket. The final truth that Ian Chappell has mentioned, it's reaching the point where fans attending tests expect to see more T20I shots played. He pointed out the instance of Sam Constas. Sam Constas in Melbourne, when he managed to ramp Jasprit Bumrah or paddle him to fine leg for a 6 or the third man for a 6. These are the kind of shots which make for entertaining viewing. And T20I cricket is seeping into Test cricket in the kind of shots that's there, because you see more results. You see baseball. Although it has not achieved its momentum, there was a ploy that, okay, you play Test cricket in 7th gear. But that is not working at this point. So T20I cricket is coming into Test cricket. And Chappell says that it's necessarily not a wrong thing. But yes, you have to adapt with the change. But Ian Chappell's major gripe is that ICC are not running cricket. They are just allowing member boards to run their own scheduling, own agenda, yet certain members are vying for a bigger pie because of the legitimate thing that we have fans. A lot of fans attend Test cricket, so that's why we demand the right to have more share in the revenue. Do you think Ian Chappell's arguments are valid? You can write to us in the comments below. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this video. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis.